Peace and bliss to y'all.
How did we get here? Slave ship, the father ain't nobody that we play with. My people broke the laws. Look at what it cost. Jerusalem, we lost. We at the bottom, y'all. We done lost it all. Black man selling drugs, gang banging ain't your culture. The more you sin, you walking dead, they eat you like some vultures. Yeah, you ain't even black. That's a known fact. That's a color. You a Hebrew, you my brother. They want us to kill each other. We should really heal each other. He been through what you been through. Y'all should feel each other. These scriptures could change any brother. I just see what dad you saying, chapter 9-11. But we ain't hear this from the reverend. We needed this message. We needed somebody to tell us that we really special. We made a covenant and one day he gon' use these vessels. It's all written, these bones living, we gon' fishing. You don't live it, no wrong living, we all mission. This is not my homeland. This is not my way of life. Send us to our homeland. But we gon' get it right. Get this beam up on my eye so that I can see the light. We found out that it was Christ. Hung out Savior on the tree just like a Hebrew. He wouldn't get the system like a Hebrew. He won't change his name like a Hebrew. They hated on his frame. Smoking red, no battlefield, it's stolen. The driver just keep going. She want a minute, and then lost her mind.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom.
Grown men filled with fear and crime. Home invasions, women raped, killing babies, empty shelves, no food trucks, starvation. People won't believe and listen until it pop off. How you gon' leave when they got the bridges blocked off? When everybody lawless, no water out the faucet, the zombies out the coffins. Gotta be quiet and cautious. Strip you nigga of any and all possessions. Streets looking like the old westerns. When you can't change your clothes, no dress room, know how to dress a woman, know how to grow your own food.
Shalom, Diane.
Prophesying through the microphone.
Matt Saw, shalom. BTG. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to y'all. All praise to the Most High for another day. Sustainment thus far through the week. As always, at the top of the morning, the Most High been merciful. Before we even jump into the message, what I say is think about the most grotesque, the most terrible smell that you ever smelled, that you ever intook. Think about it. And then once you think of that, think of fresh air. Think of the good smells the Most High allowed to hit our nostrils and our noses. And then we count that as a blessing, to one of the blessings that oftentimes gets overlooked. I'm talking about straight garbage juice. Imagine smelling that all day and all the time. So one of the things that we take for granted or we don't praise the Most High for is fresh air, clean air. Well, a smell and an odor can be offensive. In different cases, me and my brother was talking about it. Had a video where brother, he got violent with one guy because he didn't shower. You know what I'm talking about, in jail. All right, but nonetheless, all praises, glory, and honor goes to the Most High, the creator of the heavens, the earth, the seas, and everything that's in them, the Father lights, the Ancient of Days, the God of the Hebrews, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes, who we are the descendants of. We the children of those, the chosen people of the Most High God. Shalom to everybody who's tuning in over YouTube. Shalom to everybody who's tuning in over IG. Smash the like button to drive the message. You know, so that other people be able to be alerted for it, and the word may just touch them. He that has ear, let him hear. Forgive me if it's buffering over the YouTube badly. The Wi-Fi signal is not the strongest in the location where I'm at. Um, the song that was played was by the Ark Hezekiah. Hezekiah, featuring myself. This Fall Down. Go subscribe to his YouTube. Support the brother, anointed brother. All right. Today's message, though, brothers and sisters, for the top of the morning, you know, some food, some breakfast for us, is through the fire. All right, through the fire. Why are we talking about through the fire? The time that we in, brothers and sisters, it's it's a high time of temptation. All right, and within temptations for us trying to focus and be soldiers for the Most High, to do what He's called us to do, what He created us to do. You're gonna be faced with all types of distractions. All right, in many cases, those distractions are people, or those distractions are people trying to get you to go to places. It is places, it's habits, is all types of things. But we got to understand and remember, if we have people around us who they are not encouraging us to go to the Most High, they're not encouraging us in our purpose for the Most High. These people are distractions. All right, the adversary will send somebody to you, all right, to take you off your beaten path of serving the Most High, doing what He called you to do, to keep you from being busy doing the works of the Most High, to get you entangled in some sin, and ultimately getting you cut off. And you won't make it through the fire. You will die in the fire. You will die in hell flames. You'll wake up and be in those flames for eternity. So we're talking about through the fire. We're talking about girding up. We're talking about being aware of the fiery darts that come from the enemy. All right. All right. So let's open up. Let's go to Daniel chapter 12. I pray everybody doing good. Pray our families are well. I pray that the spirit of depression be bound, the spirit of confusion, or the spirit of suicide, or the spirit of malice, anger, unrighteous indignation, or all those things that's unclean and unlike the Most High. So let's go to Daniel, brothers and sisters. The book of Daniel, chapter 12. That's what we're going to kick the door in with. Daniel, chapter 12, we're going to start with verse 1. Let me slide this here over. Sister V, shalom, shalom. Candy, shalom, Israel, Judah, shalom. Yaakov, Giants, Israel, battle axes of the Most High. Memphis, shalom to you too, King. Judah the Lion. Indeed, it is a beautiful morning. Shalom to you too, Saint. All right, Daniel 12, we're going to start with verse 1, though. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. All right, so we extracting from verse 1, brothers and sisters, it's a time of trouble that's never ever been seen, never witnessed, never experienced. Nobody ever went through this. All right, so in that time of trouble, this has never been seen. We're gonna have to be on a level. We're gonna have to be in an elevator. It's some separation that's gonna have to be take place between people, you know, different relationships, in order for us to be prepared enough to make it through those trying times, to be those people whose names written in their book, the Lamb's Book of Life. Again, you got people that's distractions. You know, they come around and they not encouraging or pushing you, brother or sister, to do what the Most High called you to do. All right, and I'm not saying that we got to completely cut people out, but in certain cases you do. But in other cases, brothers and sisters, if you're gonna still deal with those people who not pushing you towards the Most High, not encouraging you, not strengthening you, not feeding your spirit, then we got to limit our time with those people. We got to be observant of the time that we spend with those people. Because in that time frame, it's going to be some influence. It's going to be a transfer spirit. And that transfer spirit is going to either be righteous or it's going to be ungodly. I will continue on. It says, verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So we know those who then passed on, they have to face judgment day. It's not called judgment days. Everybody gonna get judged at the same time. And when those people who get resurrected, who died in wickedness, those are the people who get resurrected to eternal or everlasting contempt. The people who died in righteousness, who held fast, made it through the fire, but they passed in it. Those are the people who get resurrected to everlasting life. All right, verse 3 says, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. That's the list that we want to be on. We want to be included in those people. Uncle KB, Shalom. Imprinted Mint, Shalom. Josh Kiwa, Shalom to you too. The Brew, Curly Lock, Shalom, y'all. Peace and blessings to y'all. Yeshaya's King, Shalom, Hebrew. Rayak 11, is Judah 4, Israelite. Peace and blessings to y'all too. Queen Shebrew, Shalom. Gael, peace and blessings to you as well. I'll be going back into the book Daniel 12, brothers and sisters. He that have an ear, or she that have an ear, let them hear. If the word ain't for you, hey, so be it. You know, but those who do love the word of the Most High, we try to say, don't miss the discourse at all. Anytime that word coming out, this is how we build in faith, continuously feeding our spirit the word. A lot of times, even within this message about through the fire, people not making it through it because they feed their spirits the wrong stuff. You spending more time in front of the TV watching entertainment or listening to ungodly stuff more than you listening to the scriptures, more than you looking at what's going to build you up and gird up your spirit man or your spirit woman. We know that the demon, look at the level of violence of the world right now. Look at what's going on, the level of confusion. You know, I'll talk about it farther within this Sabbath. But if those of you who don't know, June 1st has been, you know, this is considered Pride Month. It's a whole month allotted to the LGBTQ people. You know what I'm saying? So we're in a time that's unlike any other. You got men out here wearing, the thing that's going on now, you got men wearing hoochie daddy shorts. Hoochie daddy. We ain't going to get into that today, though. Nonetheless, it said, though, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So the knowledge they telling us that we living in the age of information. And with that foundation, brothers and sisters, this is what we got to be aware of. The knowledge is not just boiling down to what we were taught through school curriculums. We're talking about knowledge of the spirit realm as well. We're talking about knowledge of demons. We're talking about knowledge of attacks from these other worldly beings that people don't want to reverence or believe in. But they are real. We're talking about the knowledge of the power of the Most High. We're talking about the knowledge of prophecy. We're talking about the knowledge of the people who we were thinking were our best friends, closest Akim, brothers or sisters, and they wasn't. We're talking about all type of knowledge increasing. All right. Continuing on, it says, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? Continuing on, it says, and he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. All right, so it's saying that the wicked they're not gonna consider the time. They're not gonna consider the fact that the wildfires have been so effective to now is spilling over into the waters. Now the waters taste like dirt. They're not gonna consider that we seeing all these. They call them UAPs. They call them UFOs. They had to change it from UFO, unidentified flying objects, to UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. The chariots of the Most High. We seeing all these things in the sky, but the wicked ain't gonna consider this. It's not gonna drive them to repentance, but the wise gonna see these things, consider and say, "Man, I need to tighten up while I'm loose at. I need to be listen. I need to prepare myself for the fire." And when we come through the fire, we want to come out like gold, brothers and sisters. Verse 10 again, it says, "Many shall be purified and made white and tried." So you're gonna be tried. We gonna be tried. I don't know. Some of y'all might not have been tried yet in the way that you're thinking of, but the trial is coming, and we want to be prepared. We want to be spiritually elevated, that we don't fail, that we be completely rooted in the power of the Most High. What we believe is one thing to say that and profess that we Israelites, to say we the chosen people. But it's another thing to be able to stand in the face of adversity, still proclaiming it and having that foundation. All right, let's go to Zechariah, though. The book of Zechariah. The book of Zechariah. Okay, and excuse me, listen, I've been running off like 40 minutes of sleep all throughout the week, brothers and sisters. So, but we still want to, capitalize on the time and get it in. So if I fall short of my words, or if I seem a little off, have mercy on me. We're going to Zechariah 13. Zechariah 13, verse 7. It says, "Awake, O sword, against my shepherd and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Most High Power of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. And I will turn my hand upon the little ones." All right, within that, there's going to be a test for some people. We're going to be tested on how strong. Yeah, we when we unify, we stronger together. We weaker divided. We understand it. But we stronger together because as a single person or as an individual, we should be strong too. So that those strengths, when they combine, makes us an unstoppable force. So we have to be geared up as individuals alone too. That's going to be the test for some people. We got to know how to stand alone. You ain't going to always have your brother or your sister to the left. We ain't going to always have YouTube and IG. We're not going to always have, access to be able to come on and enjoy the luxury of sharing and breaking bread like right now. So we got to have a message. This is a part of why even, I know brothers and sisters look forward to messages on the Shabbat, on the Sabbath. And I want to be consistent even with these Thursday morning or Wednesday morning teachings. All right, but the time that y'all don't see nobody, we got to be pointing to our own families. We got to be pointing and getting into the word ourselves. We ain't going to be able to go to the elders in the mores. So this, again, brothers, there's going to be a test. There's going to be a trial for some people. How can you stand? Will you be able to stand when you can't log in? You know what I'm saying? And go get a word from somebody. What do you know yourself about this book, about your history book, about the word of the Most High? That's what it's going to boil down to. It ain't going to be us standing there as a congregation before the judgment seat. It ain't going to be us standing there as a family or account. It ain't going to be us standing there, you know what I'm saying, as just a small nucleus of people. It's gonna be one at a time, one person giving account for what he or she has done. Did you make it through the fire? How did you operate through that fire? You know what I mean? So pray for me while I'm praying for y'all. But Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Most High, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Most High is my power. All right, so this is what we're talking about. In the trying and the proving of the goal, it's not, it's coming from the Most High. The question that I was faced with, I'm still a babe in the truth. I'm going on 9 years. But early in the truth, I came across a brother who I went to school with, and he had a question. He was saying, well, how is the Most High so powerful in who he is, but he got, you know what I'm saying, the devil as an enemy. The devil contending with him. I had to tell him, like, no, the devil ain't contending with him. The book let us know Michael is the one who served the adversary, whipped him up, kicked him out. But the enemy is running rampant. Why is the Most High allowing the devil to be who he is? Because if you had a team, some of y'all done heard me say this before. If you putting together a team and you want people on your team that's loyal, but you hear or find out, you see that this brother moving sideways. He said, I don't like how so-and-so moving, or they ain't leading right. We need to overthrow him. Now you got the chance or the opportunity, you know, it's your call as a boss to be able to say, well, I'm gonna cut him off or her off. Or you can say, well, they spreading it and they going through, and I see that such and such listen, joined with them, or such and such heard them, didn't go with them. I liked it. They loyal. They're gonna be loyal to the team. So in short, you got the enemy is used to round up all the people who they not 100% for the Most High. That's a part of the purpose. But nonetheless, he said he's gonna bring us through the fire, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. We're gonna go to chapter 2. Coming out the Apocrypha. All right, if it's your first time tuning in, 14 books removed out the commonly used Bible, but they still got vestiges of it, you know, within the Bibles that's within the Catholic churches. They well aware of these. You can download on your phone the Bible that has these books included. If it's your first time seeing this book, you don't know nothing about it. But we're going to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, and I'm starting with verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So, brothers and sisters, when we look at raw gold don't have that same twinkle that it have when people use it and put it on the teeth, or they rocking the chains, or they rocking the watches or the rings. So much so now, in Memphis or in all over, really, where I done seen Florida, a couple other places, they got gold rims. But before you get that shiny metal, it's looking like a rock. So in order to get that shine, the glory and that twinkle off of it, that particular metal, it gotta go through fire. If it don't go through fire, you won't even have the same respect for it. You won't even have the same value for it. You won't look at it with the same value. All right. But it said, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. We got to go through some adverse things. We got to contend with the devil. We got to be people who dealing with people who don't care about the Most High, who hate the Most High. We got to be healers too. Let's go to Matthew 24 though. So in the time of this, as we see all these different things, it's like something new, brothers and sisters. Matthew 24, that's what we're going. We're going to get some instructions from the Messiah. Sirach, or excuse me, Matthew 26. Matthew 26, brothers and sisters. Matthew 26, verse 41. Natural keys indeed, fire of adversity. All right, Matthew chapter 26, verse 41, it says, watch and pray. I'm going to read that again. It says, watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we commanded to watch so that when we seeing these things that's happening, that's unraveling, all the wickedness, of the world, it's not just for us to be moved to that point where we read about in Ezekiel 9 and 4, where it said the men moan and groan, they sighed about the evils that was done. It's not just for that, but it's for us to mark it and say, look, I see this. I see what's going on. I see this evil. So I'm mindful of my surroundings. I'm seeing that these prophecies unfolding more and more. I'm seeing the increase, and I'm seeing that the trouble that had never been on the face of the earth is approaching. Watch and pray. Pray. We pray and we keeping in communication with the Most High. We constantly pleading our cause to the Most High. We constantly petitioning Him. We constantly humbling ourselves, coming into His presence before the throne. You know what I'm saying? Asking Him, like, Father, keep us. You know what I mean? We reading about where the woman constantly going to the judge and said he didn't revere the Most High. But this woman's continual coming caused Him to grant her what she was petitioning Him for. How much more for the children of the light? How much more for the children of the Most High? But the lack of communication, some of us, we ain't been praying like we supposed to. And that's how and why the fire gonna have us to be like stubble and wood. We gotta always be praying, continuously praying. We want to keep that communication open with the Most High. Let's go to Luke 4. Luke 4, brothers and sisters. Indeed, I was rocking fitted hats. But then once I found out I'm not supposed to be praying with my head covered as a man, I stopped buying fitted hats. And I couldn't wear them anyway because I'm praying all day. You know what I'm saying? The sisters, y'all having y'all heads covered all day because ain't no telling what type of spirit will come up. What type of evil, demon will come in y'all's presence through whatever vessel. So we got to stay good and stay praying too. Luke 4, we're going to start with verse 1. It says, and Yeshua, being full of the Holy Spirit, returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being 40 days tempted of the devil. And in those days he did eat nothing. And when they were ended, he afterward hungered. And the devil said unto him, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command this stone that it be made bread. Verse 4, and Yeshua answered him, saying, it is written, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High. All right, so we go on here, brothers and sisters, and what we extracting from what the enemy is tempting the Messiah about is the control of the flesh, to feed the flesh. Feeding this, like I said, spiritually, what we taking, what go in, you got to come out. And I'm not talking about what come off the plate and what come out your cup. I'm talking about what's entering through your eye gate, what's coming in through your ear gate, even what comes through the nose gate. Certain smells, when we kicked it off, we were talking about bad smells. But it's certain smell, fragrances, perfumes, and cologne that trigger thoughts in people's mind. that lead and is a doorway to temptation. He smell good. Ooh, she smell good. And it turns to other thoughts. All right, but what he's saying, hey, feed yourself. You need to feed yourself, man. So we're going to hold it. Let's go to Philippians. Why is that important? Let's go to Philippians. He said, turn that stone to bread, man. You know what I'm saying? The Messiah, he hungry. He said, well, if you you know what I'm saying, you who you saying you will, hey, go ahead, turn that stone to bread. Philippians 3. Philippians 3, verse 18. It says, for many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of the cross of Christ. So as many people, you know, they look the part. You know what I'm saying? They sound the part. They act the part. They appear. You know what I'm saying? They there. They present. They prompt. So on and so forth. But their fire gonna prove who is who in the end. And a lot of these people, they walk, but they enemies of the cross of Christ. Verse 19 says, whose end is destruction, whose power is their belly. So these folks, you got people out here who greedy. Some of the people they coming around, they coming to convocate just to eat. They ain't coming for the real word. They're not coming around you just because, you know what I'm saying, the light is in you to get their spirit built up. They come to you because you be paying for their lunch. You cooking them up good meals. So they using because they belly. And if they belly is they God, in the end, for a piece of bread, they'll sell us out. For a piece of bread, they'll sell us out, brothers and sisters. All right, so we got to be mindful of greed. It says, whose end is destruction, whose power is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. Their mind is not on that which is above. Their mind is not on the heaven. It's not on who made that firmament that's in my background right there. It's on the earthly thing. Now let's go back to Luke. Let's go back to Luke. Well, before we go back to Luke, let's go to 2 Timothy. Yeah. It is something that I wanted out of there. So after Thessalonians, you come to Timothy. And we come into 2 Timothy 3. We're going to start with verse 1. Our chosen daughter, the fire teaches us how to love our enemies but still have victory in battle. Nelson, shalom to you too. Indeed. B'mah shalom. All right, 2 Timothy 3, verse 1, brother and sister. It says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And keep that in mind. Last times, the last days. What we kicked it off from with Daniel in 12, we said, in the last times, in the latter days, in the end times. It says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent. This is the word that we get into. This is the spirit that we get into. From where we coming, we spawning off, or we lunching. The lunch pad was Luke 4, talking about, you know, the stone and the bread. It says incontinent. The word incontinent means to have lack of self-restraint, lack of control, lack of discipline, brothers and sisters. So this is what was embedded in with the trick of the enemy when he talking to the Messiah in Luke 4. You can't control yourself when you hungry. Remember what the book tells us, say in the wilderness, the people, they gonna be behind trees, you know what I'm saying, eating swine and mouses. So what this letting us know? They don't rule over their spirit. They don't rule over their flesh. They don't rule over their soul. All right, and it's not gonna be a sudden thing, brothers and sisters, where all of a sudden you able to do it. No, now is the time to get that working. Now is the time to start building up that distance. Now is the time to start building up that continence, that restraint, that self-restraint. David Lee on 657, Shalom. Indeed, indeed. To be loose, like what Candy Denite just posted. Indeed. I say it's fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. All right, and that's the time that we're going into. All right, now let's go. Now let's go back to Luke 4. Now let's go back to Luke 4. All right, so the Messiah told him, a man ain't gonna live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High. All right, and we know this to be true because through the Father's word, we seeing everything that's coming to pass. We can go back and check history and see that those prophecies that have already passed is recorded in world history. All right, Luke 4, verse 5. It says, and the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. So this telling us, as we line this up, verse line upon line, or with Job 9, or verse 24 and 25, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, so the enemy got the authority to give these people these riches and his fame. That's gonna be a test for some people. All right, so in a matter of fact, let me get y'all on IG. I'm gonna have to flip the screen. But let me share my screen right quick with y'all over YouTube. So in other words, he telling the Messiah, hey, sell your soul to me. You know what I'm saying? If you bow down to me, you know what I'm saying, I give you whatever you want. I give you the glory. So watch this. Let me flip the screen over on IG. All righty.
So I want you to turn around and face me. Close your eyes and come present in your body. Yeah. Give yourself permission to know the truth. Give yourself permission to know the truth. What are you holding on to?
My soul.
Yes. Let it come out. Let that come all the way out. Let's tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I sold my soul for what? About a house, a car, a vacation. What did you sell your soul for?
I sold my soul to have a life that I wanted. I never had.
Yeah, a material life. Yeah. Let that come out. You're doing so good. Let it come all the way out. Good. Yeah, let it come out.
Let it come out.
So Sharice Jackson seems to be the name. I don't know this woman. But Sharice Jackson, she comes out and tells, she says straight out her mouth, she sold her soul. And she sold her soul for a lifestyle that she didn't have. She said for the fame and so on and so forth. This comes from the adversary, brothers and sisters. Now, what is it that was going through her head about a lifestyle she didn't have that made her feel like she would sell her soul to gain it? The fire sometimes is the bills. It is the mortgage. It is the car note. These are other things that we have to endure. The book tells us that the clothes and the things of life were created for good. So to the godly, they are good. But for the wicked, they become ungodly things. So even if we take it back to the garden, after the fall, when the Most High sold those fig leaves and made aprons for Adam and Eve, that was the first time clothes was instituted. But then on down the line, you get a price tag put on the clothes. And then after the price tag get put on the clothes, now they say, well, this is designer, this is more quality and worth more than this. So now people seek after it. Now they covered in it. So now sin comes a part of apparel. Going back to that verse saying that the things that were created for good, they are good for the God. But the wicked turn those things into bad. All right. Let me show you something else though. Let's get something, another video right quick. Right quick. Let me share the screen again. Just for those who might not be aware. Because that lady was a part of the industry. So let's get somebody from the industry. We're talking about. Excuse the glare yet again.
This industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. Before in the social media, I'm gonna give y'all a little background on me, man. Like my life is not perfect, man. Don't think because I'm on Instagram showing this, showing that. I don't got a perfect life either. And I want you to understand that just because all these rappers show all this money and show all this fame, don't think their life is good. It's not. These people always faking and let you know that this is not what y'all want. Do something that's low key. Do something that can help you out. Other than being a hard or flashy. Because God can take this away from you real quick, and it's not a blessing from God. And I tell people that 24/7, this is the devil's game. It is not. This is not no God's game. This right here is for you to look up to me. This right here for you to look up to me. This right here is for you to look up to me. If I don't know this, you don't look up to me. If rappers don't do what they do, you won't look up to them. If these people not who they are, you won't look up to them. You won't want to be like them. That's why the game would never end because there's always somebody want to be like somebody else.
Somebody that want to be like somebody else. All right. So we seeing YK Osiris alerting the people, telling them, let them know. You know what I'm saying, man? The industry is ran by the adversary. It's ran by the devil. It's not from the Most High. And they using these tools. They using the jury. They using the launch pad for it is covetousness. You want what you seeing these people got. But you want it in a way not for a godly reason. So he said the chain, this is only a lure. The money is a lure. To lure you into the snare trap of the adversary. That's going to be fire for some people. It's fire for people right now. It's somebody who battling between if they want to pursue a worldly career in the industry or serve the Most High. That's what's going on with some people. All right, where we stop at? Verse, I'm going to read that again. So we in Luke 4. I'm going to hit 5 again. It says, and the devil taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them. For that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine. And the Messiah answered and said unto him, get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Most High thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. Going back into the word, that's the strength, that's the power. There's a lot of people ain't gonna make it through the fire. Or let me say it like this: we'll do better making it through the fire if we took more time to read, and not just read, but actually digest what we read. Understand, like when you open your book and it's time to study, you get sleepy, man. That's a spirit, man. That's a demon trying to keep you from feeding your spirit. You got to shake that off. You got to fight that. Or you finna get into the book and study and somebody, that distraction called you. Hey, let's go such and such. Or you get to scrolling on Facebook, IG, or YouTube, and you ain't scrolling looking at nothing that's lining up with what you know the Father then dropped in your spirit to do and search. These things, bro, it goes back to their continence. It goes back to their restraint, their discipline. All right, verse 9 says, and he brought him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, if thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down from hence. Pay attention to what he said. I'm going to read that again. It says, he brought him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, if thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down from hence. Verse 10, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. So we seeing here what's going on, what we extracting, what we seeing is embedded in this temptation. The enemy want the Messiah to prove himself. That's gonna be fire for some people. Feeling like you gotta prove yourself to somebody. Feeling like you gotta jump into this mode of anger or violence or whatever it may be. Or just to show how smart you is, or how sweet you is, or humble you is, or just to show to prove something that we ain't proving nothing to nobody but the Most High. That's who we gotta prove it to. Because when ain't nobody else around, guess what? That's who we gonna have to deal with. So it ain't for us to be trying to prove nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the enemy was trying to get him to do. All right, and he quotes scriptures with it. Be mindful of that too. You know what I'm saying? Don't let us not be fools, because I'm praying for the discernment to increase, not just for me, but for us as a nation, individuals who seeking. You know what I'm saying? For us to have a greater and a higher level of discernment between the spirits. You know what I'm saying? Is this the Son of the Most High? Is this a child of light or a child of darkness? You know what I'm saying? And to be able to distinguish between the voice of the Most High, the instruction of the Most High, or if it's just us in our flesh saying something. You know what I mean? Going about doing things presumptuous. All right, verse 12, it says, and Yeshua answering said unto him, it is said, thou shalt not tempt the Most High thy power. And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a season. Understand that, brothers and sisters. The temptations, the trials, the tests, or whatnot, you know what I mean? They move out the way, but it's for a season. It's coming up again. You're going to face it once more. But in between seasons, we girding up and preparing, just like we know. We know within the winter season that to follow after it is going to be some more heated, more warm, or warm temperature. So when we go out and shop, we shopping for shorts. We shopping for short sleeve shirts. You know what I mean? Brothers get muscle shirts, sisters get muscle shirts. All right, we getting light colors to deflect the sun rays. All right, but in other cases, when it's warm and we know that the cold weather comes, we shopping for coats, skull caps. So we preparing for the next season. So we know the enemy flee for a season. We got to be preparing how he gonna come the next time. Which way he coming in the next time. You know what I mean? It's not for us to be stagnant between these trials and these tests of fire. All right. Let's go to I missed one. Let's go to Sirach though. Let's go to Sirach 31. Sirach chapter 31, Ecclesiasticus 31. And we're going to start with verse 5. All right. And it reads, it says, he that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. Now we taking this or linking this in with the temptation of the adversary about giving the glory of the kingdoms, the materialistic thing. Gold, equate that with money. Equate that with those, material things. Verse 6, it says, gold have been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken their wealth. Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish and have not gone after gold. So you got people who they was able to overcome and withstand their fight. You know, they were successful in their test. To where, you know, the Most High, I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Hit them with the bread, hit them with the bag, and the bag didn't corrupt them. The money didn't change them for the worse. The money brought out even more greater attributes and godly attributes out of their brother or their sister. He said, blessed is that man. You know, blessed is the rich that is found without blemish and have not gone after gold. It says, who is he? And we will call him blessed. For wonderful things have he done among his people. So, and we seeing that, you know, even with the artists, you know what I mean, the rappers, a lot of these celebrities, the bread that they have is controlled. So we'll see them, you know, giving out turkeys. We'll see that. We'll see them giving out bikes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's not artists that's doing more work within the community, but what's promoted is those things. We're not seeing a real life change and things being taken place because they who run the industry is the adversary. And the Most High forbid that this man use his resources to bring in somebody else to strengthen Israelites. No, you got to be a puppet for him. You got to be a pawn to draw other souls in. All right, for them to be sacrificed. Where we at? Verse 10, it says, who have been tried their back and found perfect, then let him glory. Who might offend and have not offended, or done evil and have not done it. All right, it says, his good shall be established in the congregation, shall declare his arm. So the resource, even as it tells us, so when the Most High bless us like that, it's not, we don't get blessed with that just for us. We get blessed to be able to be a blessing to other people. All right. So let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, brothers and sisters. 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to start with, let me hit it on the head, verse 13. Sister V, Matthew 16:26. Before I get there, so hold it, brother. So let me get that Matthew 16:26 right quick. Matthew 16, verse 26. It says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? We got to understand this. And we're still in lieu of what we're talking about. But if the enemy is willing to give you these things in exchange for your soul, the value is shown within that. He's willing to give you all of those things for your soul. That means your soul is more valuable than those things that he presented to you. That he said, I'll trade you for this. But the water for this, though, sir. The water for this. All right, 1 Corinthians 10, verse 13, it says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. So the things that you're dealing with, the trials that you have, brothers and sisters, whoever tuning in, whoever the word is for, you know what I mean? Even when I'm teaching for myself as well. It's nothing new. You ain't dealing with something that somebody else ain't already dealt with. And understanding it, rejoice in the fact that those temptations that we face with, people overcome them every day. You know what I mean? Sometimes you fail, but the Most High, long as we can see that sun shining, long as he wakes us up, we got breath in our lungs, it's another chance to overcome those temptations. It's a chance to make it through the fight. All right. It says, there are no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But a higher is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. All right, so we ain't gonna be faced with nothing that we can't handle. If he allowing us to fall into these situations, is because he already know and understand and feel that we can handle what it is that he put on our plate or allowed to be put on our plate. It says, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So in the cases where the flesh is rising up, you know what I mean, and a brother or sister is going to go lay down with the somebody else, and your phone ring, and it's the brother saying, hey man, let's get in the scriptures, or it's the sister saying, let's pray, sir. Man, that's the Most High creating a way of escape. Or you know what I'm saying, you finna go and do something, whatever, you know what you tempted with. We know what we tempted with. And when those temptations arise, look for the escape route. You might be sleeping. Sometimes, hey, just go to sleep, man. Because the sin is calling. So instead of engaging or falling victim to it, you already feeling drought, man, go lay down. That's the way of escape. Sometimes the way of escaping temptation is you plan to do this, or this came up with somebody beckoning you for this, but you know you need to go see your loved one in the hospital. Or you know it's been on your spirit that you need to go down, you know what I'm saying, and visit your loved one that's in prison. These are ways of escape. We got to choose those, though. So anytime we face with temptation, brothers and sisters, the Most High then already created a way for us to escape the temptation. We just got to choose it. All right, let's go to the book of James, though. James chapter 1. I ain't got too much more. James chapter 1, brothers and sisters. I'm going to hit verse 1. James 1:1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High and of the Master Yeshua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. All right, so keeping in mind when we started with Daniel 12:1, it was talking about the chosen people, the people of the Most High. These same 12 tribes, our people, the descendants of you know what I mean, the Negro descendants of the people who came from the transatlantic slave trade, the sub-Saharan slave trade, the people who descend from the Aborigines of the Americas before the conquerors came in, the voyagers before they came in and overtook, raped, robbed, and pillaged. The people that was already here, the descendants of those people and those people. That's who the 12 tribes are. So he said, greeting to them. Verse 2, it says, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work of patience. So we have to go through these things in order for our patience to be extended. In order for our patience to be strengthened. We can't say that we really for the Most High. We ain't never been through a situation where we had to trust the Most High. We can't say that we really loyal to the Most High if we ain't never, or that the Most High watched and looked out for us, if we ain't never been through a situation for him to show himself strong on our behalf. How can we even believe? How can me and you say we friends if we ain't ever been through nothing? You know what I'm saying? You gotta know, like, man, okay, the brother was there with me through adversity and the great times. This how we know. So just like that with the Father, with the Most High, we gotta be able to go through situations and see him work on our behalf, or in our situation, choose him despite the odds. All right. Verse 4 says, but let patience have a perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Wanting nothing meaning that the adversary can't come to you and tempt you with the glory of the world and the kingdoms of it. He can't tempt you. He can't use your flesh against you to where you can't control yourself and you greedy. He can't get into your head to make you feel like you got to prove something to somebody. But you already alert, aware, you cognizant, vigilant, elevated, and you got your foot on his neck. All praise to the Most High. That's the mode that we want to be in. Let's go to 2 Peter though. 2 Peter. So you got Hebrews, James, and then Peter. We're going to 2 Peter, family. 2 Peter 1. I'm going to start with verse 4. All right, so we've seen that it says that going through those diverse temptations, it work of patience. Let patience have a perfect work. All right, so what else do we add to that? So now we're going into how do we make it through the fight? How do we withstand through the fight? How do we withstand these temptations? 2 Peter 1 verse 4 says, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, remembering the end. It says that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. All right, we want that divine nature. We want to be restored to those glorified bodies that Adam had, that Eve had before the fall. You know what I mean? And the understanding and knowing that the earth itself, it says it's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. We want to be citizens of it. All right. Verse 5 says, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. Verse 8, for these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our master, Yeshua Mashiach. But he that lack of these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. Verse 10, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. So we want to apply these things. Let that be a part of your study for the rest of the week. Those words going to and the definitions of it and the applications of it. Almost through. Come back to James. James 1 and 12. James 1 and 12. Things eternal KC. All praise to the Most High. James 1 and 12, brothers and sisters. It says, blessed. Let's let that marinate. It says, blessed. It didn't say cursed. It didn't say evil. It said, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. This is what we're battling for, brothers and sisters. We're battling for that crown of life, the end game. I want a crown. I want you to have a crown. I pray y'all want me to have a crown. You know what I'm saying? So it says, when we endure it, say we'll receive a crown of life, which the master have promised to them that love him. It says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of the Most High. For the Most High cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. So when we decide, know for sure, just like what we read from Sirach 2, understand if we come to serve the Most High, we gonna be tempted because we decide to bow this flesh. We consciously saying that we don't want dealings with the worldly ways. We don't want to be the fleshly man and the fleshly woman who don't understand and reverence the spiritual realm and know that there's things going on and influences that we can't see. All right, see, the Most High don't tempt nobody though. By coming to the Most High, your flesh gonna be calling out and wanting to take part in those things that's unlike him. All right, but he said, blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Let's go to We going back to Peter. 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3. I'm almost through. 1 Peter 3. No, 1 Peter 1. Sirach, excuse me. I told y'all I'm running out like 40 minutes of sleep. And they've been going on all week. Have mercy on me. 1 Peter 1, verse 3. It says, "Blessed be the Most High and Father of our Master, Hamashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yeshua Hamashiach from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptation." So we understand that the temptations, they will wear us out. We will get weary. You know what I'm saying? We will get tired. You know what I'm saying? You will get tired of these different tests. But at the end is a beautiful purpose, brothers and sisters. Hold fast. You know what I'm saying? Hold strong, man. Verse 7 says that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of the Messiah. All right, so that's what we're striving for. Verse 8, it says, "Whom having not seen ye love, in whom, though now ye see him not, ye believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith," here we go, "even the salvation of your souls." This is what we're going for. This is what we're facing temptation about. And you know, through the fire, it's something that I didn't add within the message, but remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they went through the fire, you know what I'm saying, they had people. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know, it's different portions of the message. But they weren't in the fire by themselves or by themselves. They had one another. So sometimes the test is you need to reach out to their brother. You need to reach out to his sister. Y'all need to pray together. When he put this person on your spirit, you need to be, you know what I'm saying, holler at them, so that you can gain strength, or we can gain strength to make it through the fight. All right, let's go to Revelation, man. Revelation 3. And we coming to a close. Revelation 3, verse 8. It says, "I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and has not denied my name." So the Most High ain't ignorant of us striving, you know what I'm saying, and holding fast and overcoming these tests and temptations. The heat of the kitchen, being in the fire, he's not ignorant of that. You know what I'm saying? The Messiah not ignorant of it. It's being recorded, brethren. It's being recorded, sister. And it's rewarded at the end if we endure. Verse 9 says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation." Watch this. "Which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." So the whole earth gonna be tempted. And when it come that time, brothers, so we want to make sure that we done built up strength to where we don't be included in that number of people that I'm gonna show you at the end. As when we came from Daniel 12, when it said the wicked shall do wickedly. I'm gonna get that before we close out. But it said that the hour of temptation is gonna come upon the whole earth. Verse 11 says, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. All right, let me grab it, Revelation 9. So is it let no man take your crown, man. Endure to the end. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Whatever it takes for you to stay focused, to stay grounded, to get through the fire. If it's drawing you closer to the Most High, do that. Which I'm gonna close out with Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Revelation 9 though, because the book of Daniel told us that the wicked gonna do wickedly, and they ain't gonna understand. Revelation 9, verse 12. It says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. So there's 200 million. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. Verse 19, for their power is in their mouth, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So the men, they being tormented and killed. Verse 20 though, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. So this is the wicked that will steal and continuously do wicked. Verse 21, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. So these are the people who, they ain't gonna rectify their deeds and their actions. They're not gonna work on their spirit. When the fire comes, they're not gonna make it through it. They're gonna die in that fire. And I'm talking about the lake of fire and brimstone. All right. So that's all I got, family. I'm gonna go through these comments. Y'all got any questions, comments, and concerns? Lay it out. Let's see. Queen Shebrew, Shalom, Mashkar, Shalom. Blessing to you and your household as well. Israel Judah said, if only we can see the spiritual battle around us is real. Black Rain 303, Shalom, Savaya, Shalom, blessed day to you as well. Let's see. Malachi, Shalom. Malachi said, is there any brethren in Canada? So anybody tuning in, if y'all in Canada, if the Most High leads you, holler at Malachi, man. Shalom, family, y'all son Jones. Mikael Gabar Yehuda. Shalom, family. Francine Hawkins, Shalom, or the water for their contribution. May it be returned to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Marvin Carrier 6687. Right, the wicked turns all things that's good for us, gods and goddesses, to elevation within ourselves. Okay, referring to when I was talking about the scripture, the enemy using those things that were meant for good for evil. Barak Yasharala Shalom. Son of Yashrael Shalom to you as well, family. Let's see. Things Eternal KC. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, I saluted you. Timeless Prime. Shalom. Barakathon as well, family. Nelson says, so am I saying that we should not wear perfume due to temptation? I am not saying it. What I'm saying is, in the testament of the 12 patriarchs, it was talking about the different ways that men fall to women. And within it, he made mention of the nose. It's not every man. Every person's temptation is not the same. So, no, I'm not saying not to wear perfume. I'm saying that for some people, there can be something that leads to temptation. So I'm just saying, just be mindful of it. But no, smell good. You know what I'm saying? Put that on. Yanika, our praises to the Most High through my shop for another lesson to strengthen us. Our praises. Mainly underrated. Shalom out. Fire lesson. Are you in the camp? I am in the camp. I'm in the camp of Israel. I'm in the camp of Christ. For the Most High. Son of Yeshua, grace, mercy, compassion, and everlasting charity to you and your family. Thank you. May that be returned back to you, recompensed on your head immediately, quadrupled for you and your family, saint. Humble law keeper says shalom to everybody. Everybody salute humble law keeper. Shalom to you. Indeed. Natural Keys on IG. Shalom, family and blessings. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 1. Let's see. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 1. All right, it reads, it says, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Indeed. Uncle KB said, may the Most High be with us all. Likewise to you too, Uncle KB. You and the fam. 1 Corinthians 2. Melissa, all praise to the Most High. Shalom to you too, son. 1 Corinthians 2. Let's see. 1 Corinthians 2. What you want exactly out of here, though? Demetre, can I share my email? Indeed. Children of the prophets. 144 at gmail.com. Put it on the screen. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 5 to 8. Okay. 1 Corinthians 2, verse 5, it says that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of the Most High. Indeed, there we go. It says, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world, they come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of the Most High in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which the Most High ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Master of glory. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, let the power not be in the wisdom of men. So earlier I made a comment about, I know people be expecting a word for the Shabbat, and even if it's the Most High, I'm trying to do more servitude to be consistent with, messages through the week, like so. We got to understand, though, brothers and sisters, that, all praise to the Most High that y'all can eat at the table with me, not from me. But it's going to come a time you're not going to be able to eat with me. We ain't going to be able to eat with each other. You got to know how to eat for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So saying that to say, we're going to have to, be having it relationship ourselves with the Most High, not dependent on men. You know what I'm saying? The times that you don't see me, you know what I'm saying? If you consider me to be your teacher, I don't consider that to be me. I don't consider it tight at all. But if that's what you're thinking, understand and realize that you have to pour into your own household. You got to get your own cup filled. We're going to always be able to log in like we're doing now. King said, I'm going to post the whole thing on Facebook and tag you out. I'll pray to Most High Eternal. Indeed. A huge salute to you, Saint. 2nd Ezra 15:4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Indeed. Indeed. Nelson, we already celebrated first fruit. We already took part in it. But salute to you and everybody else who will be and who already has. Son of Yahshua. Luke 10:16. All right. Luke chapter 10:16. Luke chapter 10:16. I'm ready to close out too, y'all. So through the week, if you think of any other question, comment, or concern, or anything, shoot it to that email. And if I can answer your question, I will. If I can't, have mercy on me. Luke 10:16. I says, he that heareth you, hear of me. And he that despiseth you, despiseth me. And he that despiseth me, despiseth him that sent me. Indeed, indeed. Indeed, saint. All right, I ain't seeing no question coming concern. So I pray that the word was edifying, strengthening. I pray it digest within our spirit those verses that came out. Go back through there and read the whole chapter up to the verse. You know what I'm saying? Read the verses around it so that we can get a sharper understanding, brothers and sisters. I pray that the Most High be with y'all, that the adversary be bound, that he don't rule, that he don't reign, that he ain't against us or you. Shalom, peace and blessings, saints. Gonna give me some rest, man. Father willing. Shalom.